Good evening. Today is Sunday, March 10th, 2024. My name is Dave, KF7JAF, and this is the Henderson Amateur Radio Club's Sunday Night Net. Welcome to everyone. This net is sponsored by and for the members of the Henderson Amateur Radio Club every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. local time. This is a controlled net, and I will be your net controller. Emergency or priority traffic should break into the net and call net control at any time. Any emergency or priority traffic, call net control now. Each week, the HARC network is joined by several affiliated repeaters, which enables us to provide coverage to Boulder City, the Las Vegas Valley, Pahrump, Amargosa Valley, and Los Angeles. In addition to our own repeaters, dozens of All-Star and Echolink connections from around the country join us on a weekly basis. Repeater information and node numbers can be found on the W7ATN.org repeater page. It's easy to become a member of this fast-growing organization. Membership gives you access to the club's members-only webpage and the W7ATN.groups.io page, both of which contain a lot of information that might be of interest to you, the amateur radio operator. To join, just visit W7ATN.org and click on the Join Now button. A reminder, the HARC repeaters use courtesy tones. Don't forget to wait for the beep. Stations with early traffic for the net, call net control now. QSTs follow. For those of you who don't know, QST means announcements or calling all hands. Item 1, the club sponsored a POTA, Parks on the Air, activation yesterday at the Ice Age Fossils State Park. A record of the event can be seen on the club's W7ATN Facebook page. You can watch contact being made from the event with an Alaskan ham on YouTube. Just look for W7ATN on YouTube. It was a lot of fun, and I'm going to want to do it again. Go check out that video, and the photographs as well. The HARC General Membership meetings are held on the fourth Tuesday of each month. That means our next General Membership meeting will be held on March 26th. Meetings take place at the American Legion BMI Post 40, located at 425 East Van Wagenen Street in Henderson. The meetings start at 6 p.m. Field Day is coming up. If you are new to Field Day, it is an event participated in by over 40,000 hams across North America, using temporary stations set up in public areas to show ham radio's science, skill, and service to our communities. You could call it Amateur Radio's Open House. It covers most amateur bands and modes and involves making as many contacts as possible during the Field Day time frame. The annual ARRL Field Day is held on the fourth full weekend of June. This year it's June 22nd and 23rd. That's not too far off. HARC participates in Field Day each year. A planning session for this year's activities will be held on March 12th. That's this Tuesday at 6 p.m. The meeting will be on Zoom. The Zoom credentials can be found on the W7ATN calendar under Field Day Planning Group Zoom meeting calendar entry on the W7ATN webpage. There will be a Tuesday morning breakfast meeting this Tuesday, March 12th. The breakfasts are held at the Skyline Hotel and Casino Restaurant, located on North Boulder Highway in Henderson. There's no official start time, but people generally arrive somewhere between 7:30 and 8:30. Most people getting there by 8 a.m. You do not have to be a member to attend the HARC General Membership meetings or the breakfast meetings. Anyone with an interest in amateur radio is welcome to any of those meetings. The next TALARC membership meeting will be held this Wednesday, March 13th. The TALARC meetings are held on the second Wednesday of each month, starting at 6 p.m. The meetings are held at the American Legion BMI Post 40 in the annex located on 425 East Van Wagenen Street in Henderson. The annex is that gray prefab building to the right of the main building. If you are a new ham looking for some practical amateur radio advice, we encourage you to try the Henderson Amateur Radio Club New Hamnet, which is held on Thursday evenings starting at 6 p.m. The net moderators Steve, KJ7RNB, and Gene, N7WDZ, are very good at getting new hams comfortable with the protocols, customs, and good operating procedures that are a part of ham radio. It gets great reviews from new hams. It's a great place to learn. Give it a try. The new Hams Net, Thursdays at 6 p.m. on these same frequencies. That's the end of tonight's QSTs. Roll call is to follow. The roll call roster is updated every week. Your call sign will be called if you have checked in at least one time during the last 4 weeks. When responding to net control, please indicate which repeater you are using. The repeater information helps the club make sure the repeater coverage is what we think it should be. If you have a short, 1 minute or less comment or short announcement, those are always welcome on this net. Just mention your comment when you check in. If you have any additional traffic that could take a bit longer than a minute, just indicate you have additional traffic when checking in. You will be acknowledged and you will be asked to stand by with your traffic. The roll call will continue on. Once the initial roll call is complete, net control will call you back and ask for your traffic. After the additional traffic, net control will call for late, missed check-ins, or visitors. Roll call begins in just a moment. Okay, on my roll call list, first up is Andrew, KC8UOK.
Kilo Charlie 8, uniform, Kilo. Hope you can hear me on break work.
Yes, Andrew, you're breaking up a little bit there, but I've got you checked in. Next up is John, KJ7MHB. Looking for Mike, KK7HQP.
This is Mike, KK7. This is Mike, KK7HQP, coming in on H2.
Thank you, Mike. Got you checked in on H2. Next up is Aaron, KJ7MNE.
This is Aaron, KJ7E, coming through on All-Star through TV Switch. No additional traffic, KJ7MNE.
Thank you, Aaron. Got you checked in on All-Star. Next up is Virginia, KJ7MNF.
W7HE. This is Virginia, KJ7MNF. Back to you, Net.
Thank you, Virginia. I have got you checked in. Next up is Sam, KK7OSJ.
Sam, KK7OSJ on B1. Back to net control, 73.
Thank you, Sam. Got you checked in on B1. Next up is John, AB7M. Looking for Dave, W3QQQ.
From Sun City, Summerlin, this is Whiskey 3Q, QQ. On N1, B1, new split for me. XTL 5000 radio, Yagi outside antenna, and that's about all I got. Cloudy skies. W3Q, QQQ, back to you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. I've got you checked in. Next up is Jerry, W8JRC.
Evening, Dave and Net. This is WHRC Jerry on the H2 repeater. No further traffic.
Thank you, Jerry. Got you checked in on H2. Next is Frank, N2DKI.
Good evening, Dave, and everyone on the net. This is Frank, N2DKI, on H6 using a handheld.
Thank you, Frank. Got you checked in on H6. Next is Michael, WN7CTS. Looking for Drew, KJ7PAR.
This is Drew, KJ7PAR. Thanks for taking the net, Dave. No further comment. Back to you.
Thank you, Drew. Got you checked in. Next up is Tyler, KJ7ABN.
This is KJ7ABN, checking in from C1, no traffic.
Thank you, Tyler. Got you checked in on C1. Next is Sean, K2STC.
Good evening, everyone on the net. This is Sean, K2STC. I'm coming in on H1 this evening with my handheld from Seven Hills area, Henderson. No further traffic, back in the control, K2STC.
Thank you, John. Got you checked in on H1. Next up is Tim, K7JTC.
Good evening, Dave, and the rest of the net, and thanks for taking the net tonight, Dave. Appreciate it. Coming to you through H1 on a Yaesu 991 into a antenna. No further traffic. Back to net control, K7JTC.
Thank you, Tim. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Bill, W7 WDJ.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bill, W7 WDJ, coming to you on my Alinco MD520 mobile on H1. No further traffic, back to control. W7 WDJ.
Thank you, Bill. Got you checked in on H1. Next up is Tommy, KB7HTA.
Good evening, Dave in the net, KB7HTA, coming this evening through H1, using an IC7100 GP3 antenna, grid power, no traffic.
Thank you, Tommy. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Bob, KC7EO.
Good evening. This is Bob, KC7EO. I'm coming in on H2 on a handheld. Traffic control.
Thank you, Bob. Got you checked in on H2. Next up is Brian, KK7COZ.
This is Brian, KK7COZ. I'm coming in on Bravo 1 with the Yaesu FT5DR. Back to net control.
Thank you, Brian. Got you checked in on B1. Next is Tim, W9AYK. Looking for Scott, KK6DZ.
Good evening, Dave and everyone on the net. Tonight I'm using my Kenwood B71 with a dual band vertical in the attic, and I'm operating through H1. No further traffic, back to net control, KK6DZ.
Thank you, Scott. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Steve, KK7NST. Looking for another Steve, N6SFX.
Good evening, Dave in the net. This is Steve, N6SFX in Boulder City. I'm transmitting on an HT into the V1 repeater, and thanks to all who made that happen. You know who you are. No further traffic.
Steve, got you checked in on B1. Next is Tony, K7ZEX.
Hello, Dave and the net. This is Tony, K7ZEX. I'm using a mobile as a base and outside antenna, a grid power. Bravo 1's the repeater tonight. I have no traffic. Back to net control, K7ZEX.
Thank you, Tony. Got you checked in on Bravo 1. Next up is Lynham, KK7BUD. Looking for Bill, N4NJJ.
Yeah, good evening, operators and listeners. This is N4NJJ. Bill, going through B1 on an ICOM 5100. Just want to say thank you to all the people that came out yesterday for our first POTA activation. It was a lot of fun and made quite a few contacts. And a special thanks to Andy, KJ7RFN, who kind of spearheaded the whole project. And we're already looking forward to the next one. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you. This is N4NJJ, back to net.
Thank you, Bill. QMU and I had a good time at the activation as well. Next up is Darren, KJ7UCS.
Good evening, Dave and everyone on the net. This is Darren, KJ7UCS. I'm using an ICOM ID52 handheld on battery power coming through H1. No further traffic, back to net control, KJ7UCS.
Thank you, Darren. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Carol, KF4KF.
Hello, this is Carol, KF4KF. I am also checking in on the ICOM ID52. It's a handheld and it's battery powered, and I'm coming through H1. I hope everyone has a really good week and nothing further back next.
W7HEN, repeater, H2.
Thank you, Carol. Got you checked in on H1. This is KF7JAF net control for the Henderson Amateur Radio Club Sunday Night Net. Roll call continues with Leo, KK7GPH. Looking for Alan, KG0Q.
Good evening. This is Kilo Golf Zero Quebec coming through B1 on a handheld Motorola 7550, and no buzz traffic. Basically, coming from the Low Mountain address, that matters, but no buzz traffic. KG0Q.
Little scratchy good. I got you checked in on B1. Next up is Keith, K7, KSG. Looking for Jerry, KD7, YMO. Next is Matt, W7, SWA. Looking for Gene, N7, WDZ.
Good evening, everyone. This is Gene, N7, WTZ, going into N1 with a Motorola XPR 4550, a GP6 on the roof, on grid power. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great week. N7 WDZ, back to net.
Thank you, Gene. Got you checked in on N1. Next is Peter, KJ7, CZI.
Good evening, Dave. This is Peter, KJ7, CZI, transmitting using a handheld on A1. No further traffic. Back to net control.
Thank you, Peter. Sounding good into A1. Next up is Joe, KO7CAV.
This is Joe, KO7. Back to the net, KO7CAV.
Well, Joe, I can hear you. Some of it was lost in the static, but I'm guessing you're on a handheld. Anyway, got you checked in. Next up is Chad, KK7NYE.
In on Hotel 1. Just want to say, keep calm and POTA on. Back to net control, KK7NYE.
Thank you, Chad. Got you checked in on each one. Next is Linda, KJ7OWF. Looking for Shane, KG7QWH. Next is Steve, KJ7RNB.
Well, good evening to all. Steve, KJ7RNB, Rhythm and Blues on All-Star in Encinitas, California. Back to net control, KJ7RNB.
Thank you, Steve. Got you checked in on All-Star. Next up is Larry, K7LPK.
This is Larry, K7LPK, coming in through All-Star tonight on my HP, BF8 HP. Anyway, no traffic, back to net control, K7LPK.
Thank you, Larry. Got you checked in on All-Star. Next is Jeff, KK7OFT.
K7OFT, coming in on H2, N1 split. Thank you for doing the net.
Thank you, Jeff. Got you checked in on the N1H2 split. Next is Vincent, N7VJK.
This is Vincent, N7VJK, coming through H1 with my Yaesu 400 and rooftop antenna.
Thank you, Vincent. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Kathleen, KJ7QMU.
Good evening, Dave and the net. KJ7QMU with a Yaesu handheld going through the N1H2 split. No further traffic. KJ7QMU.
Thank you, Kathleen. I've got you checked in on the N1H2 split. Next up is Chuck, KJ7ETZ.
Good evening, everyone. This is Chuck, KJ7ETZ on H5 with a mobile at the base, grid power with an outside antenna. No traffic.
Thank you, Chuck. Sounded pretty good into H5 there. Next up is Mike, KJ7LOO. Next is Gene, KG7XD.
Good evening, Dave. This is Gene, KG7XD, on an Alinco MD5 handheld, 1 watt diamond 999 antenna. I'm sitting inside my house here in Summerlin. 7.3 all, KG7XD.
Thank you, Gene. Sounding pretty good there on your handheld with 1 watt. Next up is Wayne, N7HWM.
Good evening, Dave and the net. N7HWN on H1 with the antenna. Back to you.
Thank you, Wayne. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Bill, KJ7KJV.
Well, good evening, Dave and the net. This is Bill, KJ7KJV, coming to you tonight to H1. Then with the 74 handheld indoor aftermarket antenna. No additional traffic, KJ7, KJV.
Thank you, Bill. Got you checked in on H1. Next up is Bob, AK6RM. Looking for Glenn, N8HC. Next is Dave, KJ7WGH.
W7H.
Thank you. This is Dave, KJ7WGH. Echo Link, St. George, Utah, KJ7WGH.
Thank you, Dave. Got you checked in on Echo Link. Next is Ralph, KI7ZOI.
SKI7ZOI, C1 repeater, using a 50-watt Anytone mobile as a base with a GP3 on the roof. No traffic.
Thank you, Ralph. Got you checked in on C1. Next is Ralph, KD7BNP.
This is KD7BNP, the other Ralph in northwest Las Vegas. Coming in through the N1H2 split on a handheld Anytone. No traffic for the net.
Thank you, Ralph. Got you checked on the N1H2 split. Next is Chuck, N2CLN.
Good evening, everyone on the net. Chuck here, N2CLN, coming to you from Green Valley Ranch, 215 in Valley Verde, using a Motorola XTS 2500, battery-powered, stock antenna, trying to make the transition through B1. Control.
Thank you, Chuck. Got you checked in on B1. This is KF7JAF Net Control for the Henderson Amateur Radio Club Sunday Night Net. Roll call continues with Daniel, N2NJB. Looking for Jim, KJ7ZSS. Next up is James, KK7IMD.
Good evening, everybody. This is KK7IMD. Coming to you on N1H2 split on an Anytone 878. No further traffic, back to net control. KK7IMD.
Thank you, James. Got you checked in on the N1H2 split. Next is Darren, WS7R.
Good evening, Dave. This is Darren, WS7R, coming to some mission fields.
Little scratchy there, Darren, but I got you checked in. Next up is Steve, KJ6WCS. Next is Andy, KJ7RFN.
Good evening to Dave and the net. Thanks for running the net tonight, Dave. And thank you for everybody that showed up to the state park for the POTA activation. I had a ton of fun and definitely had a good laugh. Alaska knocking me down with 5'9" with 1,200 watts. Looking forward to doing the next POTA with everybody else. Don't forget, if you were there, to submit your logs to me so I can get the official POTA log submitted. All right. Thanks again for the net. Coming in on H2 with my Motorola Mobile, KJ7RFN.
Thank you, Andy. Got you checked in on H2. Had a pretty good time with the POTA activation as well. Next up is Norm, W2AD.
Good evening, Dave, and everybody on the net. This is Norm, W2AD. Coming in on H1 using a Yaesu FT400XDR with an outside mobile antenna perched on the porch. Back to net.
Thank you, Norm. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Lawrence, N6YFN. Looking for Rocky, W7NVS.
This is Rocky on H1 with a Anytone 878, W7NVS. Good job doing the net there.
Thank you, Rocky. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Glenn, W7GPS.
Hi, everyone on the net. This is Glenn, Whiskey 7 Golf Papa Sierra. I'm on H1 tonight. I have no further traffic. Back to net control, Whiskey 7 Golf Papa Sierra.
Thank you, Glenn. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Jason, WV3V. Looking for Albert, KK7NML.
Good evening to the net. This is Albert, Kilo 7, November Mike Lima.
using a mobile on as a base on an outside Yagi pointing to H1. No further traffic. Back to net control, Kilo 7, and I'm out.
Thank you, Albert. Got you checked in on H1. Next is Dave, AK7I.
Good evening, Dave, and to the net. I'm getting repeater Hotel 1, and I have no traffic for the net tonight. Thank you. AK7I, back to net control.
Thank you, Dave. Got you checked in on H1. Next up is Kenyon, KK7HGW. Looking for David, W7JCK.
Good evening to everybody on the net. This is David, Whiskey 7 Jack, transmitting tonight on my mobile as a base, Anytone 578, with a mag-mount antenna sitting in the driveway. A B1, Whiskey 7 JCK.
Thank you, David. Got you checked in on B1. Next is Gene, KB6CMO.
Good evening, Dave. This is Gene, KB6CMO, on Charlie 1, using the Yaesu FT70 Delta handheld. No further traffic, KB6CMO.
Thank you, Gene. Got you checked in on C1. Next is Stan, WA6NGU. Breaking up a little bit there, Stan, but I got you checked in on B1. Next up is Don, W7DGU.
Evening, Ed. This is Don, W7DGU. I'm on H1 this evening with my ICOM 5100. No new things to mention. Back to you.
Thank you, Don. Got you checked in on H1. Next up is Jay, KT5LA.
Good evening, Dave, and near Las Vegas, a huge chunk of Los Angeles, KT5LA in the South Bay with a FT991 antenna on the roof. And I'm glad to have more sunlight, KT5LA.
Yeah, we sure had some nice weather these last couple days. Thanks, Jay. Got you checked in on C1. Next up is Bill, N2THO.
N2THO on H1, using mobile rig as the base off of grid power. No further traffic. Back to you.
Thank you, Bill. Got you checked in on H1. Next up is Norm, K7NOR. Next is Ryan, KJ7ABK. Looking for Paul, KD6SIN. Looking for Scott, KJ5EFL.
Didn't I make it? KD6SIN.
I hear you, Paul. KD6SIN. I've got you checked in. Where was I? Scott, KJ5EFL. Are you there? Next up is Tracy, KJ7FPP.
Good evening. Coming to you live from the Best Boy Shopping Center area, KJ7FPP. Transmitting through B1 instead of H2. Ken will be 71 mobile as a base scan at Corona Track 5 Tango. Over the track.
Thank you, Tracy. Got you checked in on B1. Next is Jay, KK7RNK. This is KF7JAF Net Control for the Henderson Amateur Radio Club Sunday Night Net. Roll call continues with Clifford, KO6CYL. Next is Marissa, KO6CZX. Looking for Jorge, KO6CWE. Next is Adam, NX7T.
Good evening, Dave, and the rest of the net. Coming in tonight on A1, using an ICOM base station on grid power. No further traffic, NX7T, back to net.
Thank you, Adam. Got you checked in. Next is Rick, KG6UYS. Looking for Kelly, KK7QEA.
Good evening, this is Kelly, No further traffic.
Thank you, Kelly. I've got you checked in. Next up is Jerry, KD7OKK.
Good evening. That's Jerry, KD7OKK. And on H1, no further traffic.
Little noisy into H1, Jerry, but I've got you checked in. That's my call-out list as I have 90 call-outs tonight. So anybody that I missed their check-in, I miss you, you miss me. Call net control now.
KK7GP. Kilo 7, Uniform Delta, that's KK7B. Lynham, North Las Vegas.
KK7GPH, I got you checked in.
This is Kilo 4.
Lynham, KK7BUD, I have got you checked in.
Kilo 4, Kilo Whiskey, Foxtrot. Kilo 6, Alpha, November, Mike in Valley Springs, California.
KJ7, MHB. John, checking in.
Okay, K4, KWF, got you checked in. K6, AAN, Mike. And KJ7, MHB, John, I got you checked in.
Kilo Delta 7, Yankee, Mike, Oscar, Jerry.
Jerry, KD7YMO, got you checked in.
KG7, Alpha, Yankee, Kilo, Tim.
That was a double. W9A Alpha something Kilo. I'll come back with your call again, please.
W9, Alpha, Yankee, Kilo, Tim, North Las Vegas.
And W9AYK, you've got you checked in. Other station, go ahead.
This is KG7UYS, Rick, checking in. Unit on H6.
KG7UYS, got you checked in on H6. Any other late check-ins or stations that missed their check-in acknowledgement, call net control now. Any visiting stations wishing to check in, call net control now.
Kilo, Mike 6, Romeo, Papa, Alpha, KM6RPA, currently mobile in Orange County, California.
KM6RPA, mobile, got you checked in.
Whiskey Victor 6, Whiskey, Chris.
WV6W, Chris, I've got you checked in. One final call for late check-ins, additional traffic, missed acknowledgements, or visiting stations. Call net control now.
KK7EXK, Eric.
KK7EXK, Eric, I've got you checked in. I think that concludes the call roster for this evening. Give me 1 second and I'll do a recap. Alrighty then, thanks to everyone for checking in tonight. A quick recap, there will be a Tuesday morning breakfast meeting this Tuesday, March 12th at the Skyline Hotel and Casino in the restaurant located in the back. It's at 1741 North Boulder Highway in Henderson. A field day planning meeting will be held on Zoom this Tuesday, March 12th, starting at 6 p.m. Zoom meeting credentials can be found by visiting the W7HEN.org website's calendar page and clicking on the meeting notice. The TALARC membership meeting is scheduled for this Wednesday, March 13th at the American Legion BMI Post 40 in the Annex at 425 East Van Wagenen Street. Meetings start at 6 p.m. Next, HARC General Membership Meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 26th. General Membership meetings are held at the American Legion BMI Post 40 on 425 East Van Wagenen Street in Henderson. Tune into these same frequencies every Thursday night at 6 p.m. for the new Hamsnet. For more information about these and other activities can be found on the W7HEN.org website. Just visit the site and click on Calendar. If you're just now tuning in to get ready for the HARC Sunday Night Net, well, I guess we know who forgot to set their clocks ahead. We're into daylight savings time. Don't forget to set your clocks ahead by 1 hour and your calendar back by 50 years. Being a net control operator is a valuable skill to have, and it's a skill that gets better with practice. If you're interested in becoming a net control operator for the Sunday Night Net, even if you can sign up for only 1 net per quarter. Send an email to netcontrol@w7hen.org, and we will get you started. And, of course, we thank you in advance for your help. We're always looking for ways to better serve our members. If you have any ideas, suggestions, or comments, please send the information to any board member. Their email addresses can be found at the w7hen.org/meet the team page. And if you'd like to become a Henderson Amateur Radio Club member, just visit w7hen.org and click on the Join Now button. We'd love to have you on board. Thank you for participating this evening. This concludes the Henderson Amateur Radio Club Sunday Night Net. My name is Dave, KF7JAF. I now return the W7HN repeater network back to regular use at about 7:53 p.m. Stay safe, 7-3.